start already.
Yes, near triple digits. They're prompting heat advisories and a weather action day, Lisa.
Yeah, it is. We're going to be under a Denver 7 weather action day due to the heat. Right now, looking at across the board on our Super 7 day, well, near 100 today. Warmer than average conditions you can see here on our 10-day forecast, covering most of the country. So there's not going to be much relief anywhere here over the next week and a half. This morning, 60s and 70s. Will be at about 92 degrees by 11 o'clock, near 100 between about 2 and 3. So Denver, triple digit heat. Keensburg 102, mid to upper 90s as you get a little closer to Castle Rock and Parker, 70s and 80s in the mountains. Now take a look at Futurecast. There will be a few thunderstorms popping up later today. It's going to be isolated activity for us. We'll see a better chance for hopefully a little bit of rain tomorrow, but overall pretty dry. Coming up, we'll take a look at some of our record highs, lows, where we stand with that this week in just a few minutes.
Even a couple clouds would help us out today. Right now, we have a pretty good drive overall. We will take a look at I-70 in just a second. This is southbound I-25. You see some of the slower traffic down to Mile High Stadium. So it's a very typical start. Had a crash up to the north side, and you can see the drive times right now coming in from Northwest Parkway at about 25 minutes. The crash was right after 84th Avenue. All lanes are well open, and it was way over to the side. It actually looks pretty good up there right now. 76, I-76 and 270 also a little bit busy. You see the drive times on I-70. We'll get a closer look at that in just a second. You can see some of the slower areas here on I-225. One crash over Colorado and Evans, but still slow for us on that southbound side of I-25 for us here this morning. And this is the new section of I-70. That eastbound side is open going past the Coliseum over to Colorado Boulevard. Take a look from the camera down there. So this is the westbound side. This is where eastbound traffic was driving. Now it's over here. The express lanes are still closed for now as they're continuing to configure that for you. And so you might be asking, what's next with this I-70 project now that the new tunnel is now open? Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is over on the entrance side of the tunnel. And Veronica, there's still some really important work to do before they can call this project done.
There is. Take a look at it for yourself. Like you mentioned, for the first time ever, drivers are on two separate tunnels of Central I-70 here. So still two major things have to happen before the project is all wrapped up. Workers do need to finish the park and the playground. Those will be over top of the tunnels. And then they need to work on changing the westbound tunnel from two-way traffic to one-way traffic. Workers, they also need to do some restriping in the westbound tunnel to create the permanent wider lanes, the express lane and the wider shoulder. But before that, they have to change the barrier walls.
When you look at this concrete barrier, you look at some of the flares on the barrier, that is designed for an eastbound traffic shift or an eastbound traffic movement. In that tunnel, ultimately it needs to be designed for a westbound traffic movement. We are going to have to demolish some of the barrier and re-pour that barrier. It's a lot of work. There are a lot of systems and things that need to be modified in order to switch to the final configuration.
And of course, as we know, all of this work won't be done overnight. Westbound I-70, that's expected to be at least wrapped up sometime, or in its final stage rather, in September. And coming up in the next half hour, we're running you through those changes that are coming to the top of the tunnel, the park, the playground, and those soccer fields as well. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Veronica, thank you. And now to that fallout from this chaotic scene in Lodo over the weekend. Denver police opened fire as a bar was letting out. They say they were targeting a man with a gun, but now 5 innocent people are recovering after being hit. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live at the scene at 20th and Larimer. And Christian, this case is going to the office of the Independent Monitor.
Yeah, it is, and this office was created back in 2004 by the mayor and city council to look into cases like this shooting where 5 innocent people were hit. It's responsible for looking into any complaints against DPD, officer-involved shootings, and in-custody deaths involving police officers as well, so they'll recommend any disciplinary action. And in a video that was sent to us by a witness, you can see those moments of chaos that broke out as people were leaving the bars Sunday morning. You can see what appears to be an innocent bystander who was shot in the thigh. Another part of the video also shows a man being handcuffed by police on the ground. Denver police officers were responding to a fight that broke out involving the suspect, Jordan Waddy. Officers say they followed Waddy, and at some point he pointed a gun in their direction, and that's when they fired. Waddy was hit but is expected to survive. The 5 innocent bystanders who were caught in the middle of all of it were also injured, but they are expected to be okay. Denver police say at this time it appears the suspect did not fire his weapon, and we spoke with witnesses who said that this all happened as there were crowds of people all around.
As soon as the cop in the front pulled out his gun, he just started shooting. Like there was no time, no pause to process. Like as soon as he pulled it out, he just started shooting, and we heard 4 shots, and there was like a crowd of people in front of us, and there were still people coming out of the bar itself.
The suspect is in custody and could face criminal charges. Meanwhile, the 3 officers who fired their guns are on administrative leave. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Christian, thank you. Well, the country's latest mass shooting was in a mall in Indianapolis. The Gun Violence Archive says it's the 350th in the U.S. this year, and we're only in July. 3 people were killed and 2 people, including a 12-year-old girl, were injured. It could have been a lot worse, but a bystander with a gun intervened and killed the shooter.
Real hero of the day is the citizen that was lawfully carrying a firearm in that food court and was able to stop this shooter almost as soon as he began.
Investigators say the suspect had a rifle and several magazines of ammunition. Police haven't revealed a motive.
Well, this morning, parents in Uvalde, Texas are outraged after a report showed nearly 400 police officers responded to the Robb Elementary School shooting but did not follow their active shooter training. It also said they failed to prioritize saving the lives of innocent kids over their own.
Whatever I see in this report's not going to bring my son back, but we need to prevent it so somebody else won't lose their son, their daughter, their kids.
Uvalde's mayor also released new body cam video. The report said it was possible some victims could have survived if officers hadn't waited 73 additional minutes to confront the gunman. Law enforcement also never established an effective command post outside, which led to communication problems. Some officers in the video didn't even seem to know what was happening.
What are we doing here?
We are also learning the shooter was a former student at Robb Elementary School. He attended 4th grade inside the classroom where the shooting happened. His former teacher testified he was bullied that year.
A plane crash into Boulder's Left-Hand Canyon killed at least one of the 4 people on board and started a small fire yesterday. This was near the towns of Ward and Gold Hill. The fire was put out, and we are working to learn more about the plane and its passengers. Evacuations are now lifted in Larimer County after a fire sparked near Red Feather Lakes. 2 cabins were burned and the fire spread to some nearby grass, but fire crews were able to put those flames out quickly and no one was hurt.
Deputies are looking at whether kids might have started a small fire in Castle Pines on Sunday. The kids were shooting off model rockets right before the fire started and then ran to neighbors to get help. Other people heard the commotion and got out a fire extinguisher. Firefighters eventually arrived and helped put the fire out. Denver's Mayor Michael Hancock will give his final State of the City update today. It will be his last because he is leaving office next summer due to term limits. He's expected to talk about a range of topics like housing and public safety.
Affordable housing and dealing with issues around our homeless, public safety, our small business development. We've got some exciting things to announce that are going to take place over the next year. They're going to keep us pretty busy, but we have a lot to be proud of here in Denver. And while we face these challenges, we've got some great tools and efforts that we're going to be, put in play to help us really kind of sustain and emerge even stronger.
It was last year when Mayor Hancock announced plans to build a new arena at the National Western Complex, although voters turned it down on a bond measure. The mayor's State of the City starts at 11 o'clock today from the Montbello Recreation Center.
Get your daily walk or bike ride in early. Some communities could feel temperatures hotter than 100 degrees today. So the sun already kind of looks like it's all the way out though right now. Lisa's tracking when some relief could be seen on her Super 7 day.
Maybe some thoughts of hockey to cool you off. Tickets for the Avs new season just went on sale. What it'll cost to see the opening game in person.